Twisted tidings of terror, Christmas in Death Valley. The sun sank low over Death Valley, casting long shadows across the arid expanse. The desert was enveloped in an eerie silence, disturbed only by the cool whisper of the wind. It was Christmas Eve, and while the rest of the world was celebrating with feasts and festivities, a small, unexpected gathering was taking place in an old, abandoned ranger station. A group of 5 friends, Sam, Julia, Ethan, MIA, and Ben, had decided to spend the holiday off the grid, escaping the commercialism of Christmas. They packed their tents, a couple of rickety holiday decorations, and enough snacks to last a week. What they had not counted on was the twisting fate that awaited them. "Look at this place! It's perfect!" Julia exclaimed as they pulled up to the ranger station. The decayed wood and rusting metal gave it an air of forgotten history, but it was charming in its own right. They set up camp, laying out twinkling lights and hanging a small, hand-carved wooden Santa that Sam had made years ago. As night fell, the stars lit up the vast desert sky, twinkling like diamonds scattered on black velvet. The friends gathered around a small campfire, the warmth contrasting the chill that crept in with the darkness. They toasted marshmallows and shared stories, laughter echoing in the stillness of the valley. "Did you guys hear about that legend?" Ben said, his voice lowering conspiratorially. "The ghost of a lost miner who wanders the valley looking for his treasure. They say he only appears on special nights, like Christmas Eve." "Please, Ben." "We're not kids anymore," MIA scoffed, rolling her eyes. "Ghost stories? Really?" Even as she said it, the atmosphere changed. A cold breeze swept through the campsite, causing the flames to flicker and dance. A distant howl echoed across the valley, and a shiver ran down Mia's spine. "Just the wind," Ethan said, trying to sound reassuring. But unease lingered in the air, and the night wore on, filled with an unspoken tension. Around midnight, they decided to venture outside to take in the night sky. The moon bathed the valley in an ethereal glow, and the stars felt within reach. They marveled at the beauty but were quickly reminded of the isolation surrounding them. "I'm going for a walk," Sam announced suddenly, stepping away from the group. "I need some air." "Be careful. Stay within sight." Julia called after him, but he was already moving into the shadows. The others exchanged glances, a sense of worry creeping in. Minutes turned into an hour. As they began to call for him, a blood-curdling scream sliced through the desert silence. The group froze, and anxiety gripped their hearts. "Sam," they shouted in unison, fear pushing them to their feet. They rushed towards the direction of the scream, but it was swallowed by the vastness of the valley. They split up, calling for him as desperation grew. MIA found herself at the edge of a steep drop-off, the dark abyss sprawling below her. Suddenly, she spotted something glimmering against the rocks. As she approached, her heart plummeted. There lay Sam, lifeless, his face frozen in a mask of terror. "MIA!" Ben's voice echoed from behind her, but panic seized her as she stumbled back, feet slipping on loose gravel. She gasped, realizing the danger, and clung to the edge, eyes wide with fear. When Ben reached her, he pulled her back just in time. But the moment was short-lived as a shadowy figure appeared on the opposite ridge, watching them, unmoving. Cloaked in darkness, it emanated a palpable malice. "Did you find him?" Ethan gasped as he and Julia hurried over. His MIA stuttered, tears streaming down her cheeks, but before she could finish, the figure seemed to glide closer, shrouded in a chilling mist that hung in the air. "Run!" Julia screamed, and they took off toward the ranger station, hearts racing. Inside, they barricaded the door. The wind wailed outside, and they huddled together, trembling. "We need to get out of here. We need to call for help," Ethan said, his voice shaking. "Not until we know what that thing is," Ben replied, frustration spilling over. "We can't just run blindly." Suddenly, a soft, tinkling sound broke the tension, a faint bell-like chime. They turned to see the small wooden Santa that Sam had carved, now inexplicably moving across the table. "Is this some sort of twisted Christmas joke?" Julia muttered, but the laughter in her voice was void. The figure outside grew more insistent, and shadows twisted around them. The bell chimed again, and a low voice whispered through the cracks, a haunting melody that spoke of loss and betrayal. "Help me find my treasure," it sang, "and you shall be free. Keep it hidden, keep it safe, or pay the price of my misery." In that moment, they realized the miner's treasure was never gold or jewels, it was the weight of their own secrets and regrets. They had come to escape the holiday, but it had found them in the most terrifying way. As the night deepened, they faced their fears, revealing their darkest truths to one another, fears of failure, guilt, and loss. Each confession released a burden, and with each revelation, the presence outside seemed to retreat, the chilling melody fading into the night. Just before dawn, as the first rays of light broke over the horizon, the malevolent figure vanished, leaving behind only the eerie emptiness of the desert. Exhausted and terrified, they emerged from the ranger station. In the morning light, they found Sam's body. But to their relief, the terror of the night receded, and they knew they had appeased the spirit's suffering, if only for a time. They set to burying him under the soft sands of Death Valley, laying to rest their fears and regrets. Though they left the valley as changed people, the twisted tidings of that Christmas haunted them in a way they would never forget. In the heart of Death Valley, they learned that true terror lies not in the supernatural, but in the memories we carry and the burdens we must face. I would appreciate it if you would click the subscribe button if you enjoyed my Christmas mystery story.